For hundreds and thousands of years, humanity has searched for answers, but the deeper we dig into the past, the more puzzling it becomes. Science has uncovered an incredible amount about our world, but there are still things that refuse to fit into any explanation, especially the traces left behind by our ancestors. We're not talking about mythical Atlantis, the Baalbek megalithic complex, or the Quimbaya airplanes, but discoveries so bafflingly mysterious that no one can explain them. And today, we'll look at some of the most amazing ancient secrets ever uncovered, finds that continue to challenge history and confuse researchers. Let's begin with number 15. The singers of Amun hidden coffins when it comes to ancient Egypt. Every new excavation seems to raise even more questions than it answers. That happened again in early 2026, when archaeologists working on Luxor's West Bank found a sealed rock-cut chamber no one had entered for well over 2,000 years. Inside sat 22 beautifully painted wooden coffins, carefully stacked in rows, many of them still holding the mummies placed there so long ago. As astonishing as that was, another discovery stole the spotlight. A large ceramic jar contained 8 sealed papyrus scrolls that have remained unopened since the day they were buried. Nobody knows what is written inside. The coffins revealed another surprise. Most carried no personal names, only the title Singer of Amun. These women weren't ordinary performers. They belonged to the great temple of Amun at Karnak, where music played a sacred role in honoring the gods. Their original tombs are still missing, and until those ancient scrolls are opened, much of their story remains locked away with them. Number 14. The deer bone of Einhornli Neanderthals, according to long-held beliefs, were nothing more than primitive people. They hunted, ate, slept, survived, and then did it all over again. Well, that picture began to crumble in 2021 when archaeologists discovered a carved giant deer bone inside Germany's Einhornale cave in the Harz Mountains. Fascinatingly, the discovery wasn't important because of the bone alone, but because of the mind believed to have shaped it. Researchers concluded the engraving was created by Neanderthals rather than modern humans, forcing experts to rethink their intelligence. Stone tools and hunting skills were already part of their story, but this find paints a far richer picture. Before carving began, the bone appears to have been carefully cleaned and possibly boiled, then decorated with precise chevron patterns requiring planning and patience. Those markings weren't scratched into it by chance. Their meaning remains completely unknown, and perhaps it always will. Still, they point toward symbolic thinking, suggesting our ancient cousins may have possessed far more imagination than history ever allowed. Number 13. Alexander the Great's lost city. Alexander was one of those rulers who rarely built anything without a purpose. Every city he founded was meant to strengthen his empire, protect trade, or secure newly conquered lands. Back in 324 BC, after returning from his eastern campaigns, he ordered the construction of a new port city where the Tigris and Karun rivers met in southern Mesopotamia. For centuries, that city vanished so completely that many historians questioned whether its true location would ever be found. Then, in February 2026, years of careful surveys finally confirmed the answer. Archaeologists identified the ruins at Jebel Khaybur in southern Iraq as Alexandria on the Tigris, a thriving city established by Alexander himself. Covering roughly 2.5 square miles, the site revealed broad streets, towering defensive walls, workshops, temples, canals, and harbor basins buried just beneath the desert. Rather than excavating immediately, researchers relied on drones, magnetometers, and surface surveys to map the city. After nearly 2,000 years of silence, Alexander's forgotten gateway to the east had finally resurfaced. Number 12. Sumerian Kushum tablet. The ancient Sumerians wrote about kings who ruled for not hundreds, but thousands of years. Well, strangely enough, one of their greatest discoveries isn't linked to a legendary ruler at all. but it comes from an ordinary clay tablet more than 5,000 years old. The Kushim tablet, as they called it, is widely considered to contain the oldest recorded name in human history. Well, a lot older, the inscription mentions someone called Kushim, although scholars still cannot agree whether that referred to a real person or an official position. Rather than describing a battle or honoring a powerful king, the tablet appears to record barley deliveries, most likely connected with early beer production in Mesopotamia. That's exactly why historians find it so captivating. A simple accounting record managed to outlive entire empires. Hidden inside that modest receipt is a glimpse of daily life, reminding us that even the world's earliest civilizations worried about supplies, payments, and balancing daily business. How much of Sumerian history is missing? Number 11. Guadalupe woman skeleton. Human skeletons turn up all the time. Finding one sealed inside rock that formed millions of years before humans even existed is another matter entirely. That's why the Guadalupe woman skeleton has remained one of archaeology's strangest puzzles for more than 200 years. Discovered on the Caribbean island of Guadeloupe during the early 19th century, the remains were found embedded inside a massive slab of solid limestone. When British forces captured the island in 1810, the mysterious stone was shipped to England, where scientists examined it in detail. The skeleton belonged to a fully grown woman, probably in her early 30s, although her skull and feet were missing. Then came the part nobody could comfortably explain. The surrounding limestone was identified as Miocene in age, dating back roughly 28 million years, far earlier than the appearance of human beings. So, how did she get there? Number 10. Pia Blanca cave paintings. Putting an exact age on ancient cave paintings has never been easy. The artwork itself is painted onto stone, and stone doesn't reveal when the images were created. Because of that, archaeologists usually have to depend on charcoal, shells, or other materials found nearby, leaving plenty of room for debate. That finally changed in 2021 inside the Pia Blanca caves of the Philippines. By using advanced scientific dating methods, researchers confirmed that the paintings are around 3,500 years old, making them the oldest directly dated cave art ever identified in Southeast Asia. Even more interesting, the oldest human remains found in the same region belong to roughly the same period. Was that merely a coincidence? Or were these paintings created by some of the area's earliest settlers? Nobody can answer with certainty. Some researchers point toward Austronesian migrants, while others believe the artists belong to older groups such as the Negritos. Whatever the truth may be, these mysterious paintings have finally secured their rightful place in history instead of lingering in uncertainty. Let's move to number 9. The Zapotec giant owl. Tomb owls have always carried an unsettling reputation. Across countless ancient cultures, they weren't simply birds of the night. They were believed to watch over the boundary between the living and the dead. That belief took on a whole new meaning in early 2026, when archaeologists opened a 1,400-year-old Zapotec tomb in San Pablo Huitzo, Mexico. The burial chamber held the remains of an important individual surrounded by valuable offerings. But every eye was drawn to one astonishing object. Standing inside the tomb was a massive owl sculpture, carefully positioned as if it had been guarding the chamber for centuries. It wasn't placed there by chance. For the Zapotec civilization, the owl symbolized the underworld, death, and the unseen world beyond human life. Researchers believe the person buried there held exceptional status, though their identity remains unknown. Excavations have only just begun, and every new discovery raises fresh questions. Perhaps the greatest secret isn't who the owl was protecting, but what the builders believed waited beyond the tomb itself. It's perplexing. Number 8. Doggerland. The lost ancient world. England might not be as anciently famous as Egypt or Mesopotamia, but one of Europe's greatest prehistoric mysteries was discovered there without turning over a single stone. Instead of digging through ruins, scientists examined ancient Dina preserved inside mud collected from the floor of the North Sea. In 2026, their results transformed everything researchers thought they knew about Doggerland, the enormous landmass that once linked Britain with mainland Europe. For decades, it had been dismissed as little more than a prehistoric land bridge crossed by migrating people. The genetic evidence tells a very different story. Around 16,000 years ago, Doggerland wasn't a frozen wasteland at all. It was covered with thriving forests of oak, elm, hazel, and even trees believed to have disappeared from northwestern Europe hundreds of thousands of years earlier. That discovery may finally solve one of Europe's oldest scientific puzzles: how forests spread so quickly after the Ice Age. Perhaps the answer wasn't hidden on land all along, but beneath the waves where an entire forgotten world still rests. Who knows? Number 7. The lost city of the Kalahari. Some mysteries begin with an ancient map. This one began with a traveler who claimed he saw an entire forgotten city rising from the sands. In 1885, Canadian explorer William Leonard Hunt, better known as the Great Farini, crossed the Kalahari Desert and returned with a unique story. He described broken temples, crumbling walls, burial grounds, and the remains of a city abandoned long before recorded history. His account attracted enormous attention, inspiring more than 20 expeditions over the following decades. Every search ended the same way. Nothing was found. Then, in 1964, researcher A.J. Clement suggested a different explanation. After retracing what he believed was Farini's actual route, he discovered unusual dolerite rock formations naturally split into block-like shapes that could easily resemble ruined buildings from a distance. Many accepted that solution, but not everyone was convinced. Some still believe a genuine lost city lies buried beneath the shifting dunes, waiting for the desert to reveal it once again. Number 6. Underwater Yucatan skeleton. Long before the Maya raised towering pyramids or carved a single monument, other people were already walking through the caves hidden beneath the Yucatan Peninsula. Back then, those flooded passages were completely dry. Everything changed as the Ice Age ended and rising seas slowly swallowed the underground world, sealing whatever remained inside. This year, archaeologists announced the discovery of an 8,000-year-old human skeleton preserved within one of those submerged cave systems. It ranks among the oldest burials ever recovered from the region and offers another rare glimpse into the lives of the peninsula's earliest inhabitants. These people lived thousands of years before cities, farming, or written history reached the area. They survived by hunting and gathering, leaving behind little evidence of their existence. Today, the caves have become one of archaeology's greatest natural time capsules, preserving bones where nothing else could. Somewhere beneath the crystal-clear water, many more passages remain unexplored, and perhaps countless more forgotten lives are still waiting to be found. Number 5. Maya greenstone. Celts. The Maya left behind towering pyramids, magnificent cities, and one of the most sophisticated civilizations in the ancient Americas. Even so, enormous chapters of their earliest history remain incomplete. Much of what survives was written centuries later by the Spanish, leaving countless questions unanswered. That's exactly why a discovery made at Cibal, Guatemala in 2021 drew so much attention. Archaeologist Takeshi Inomata uncovered 72 polished greenstone celts carefully arranged beneath the ground in the shape of a cross. Their age makes the discovery even more fascinating. Dating back roughly 3,000 years, they belong to a period when the earliest Maya world is still wrapped in uncertainty. The arrangement wasn't accidental either. Each arm points toward one of the 4 cardinal directions, suggesting careful planning and deep symbolic meaning. Greenstone was highly valued by the Maya, often associated with life, fertility, and sacred beliefs. Beyond that, the mystery remains. Perhaps these stones preserve a forgotten chapter of Maya history that has yet to be understood. Number 4. Temple of Indara. Ancient temples usually leave behind broken columns, carvings, or statues. The Temple of Indara in Syria left something far more chilling. Just outside its entrance are enormous footprints carved into solid stone, each one far too large to belong to an ordinary human being. They have remained there for more than 3,000 years, quietly challenging every visitor who stands beside them. Archaeologists generally believe the temple's builders carved the footprints to symbolize a powerful deity entering the sanctuary. Local tradition tells a very different story. According to generations of villagers, those giant prints were left by a supernatural being whose clawed feet once walked across the temple itself. Others insist they belong to real giants who lived in the region long ago. No theory has ever settled the debate. Even after the temple suffered heavy damage during a Turkish airstrike in 2018, the mysterious footprints survived. Number 3. Heidentor Arch. Standing alone in the Austrian countryside, the Heidentor Arch has been watching centuries slip by while refusing to tell anyone why it was built. Historians place its construction during the reign of the Roman Emperor Constantius II, somewhere between 351 and 361 AD. But no inscription has ever confirmed that date. Like many Roman monuments, it may have celebrated a military triumph, especially since the thriving city of Carnuntum once stood nearby with a population of nearly 50,000 people. Today, that city has almost completely vanished, leaving this solitary arch behind as its most recognizable survivor. For generations, people even believed it had served as Carnuntum's main entrance, only for later research to dismiss that idea. Once that explanation disappeared, fresh questions quickly took its place. Modern pagan groups now regard the monument as a sacred location, calling it Heaven's Gate. Well, if the structure was originally a tetrapylon, most likely a statue of an emperor or deity probably stood at its center. Number 2. The massive Aztec offering. Every empire tried to leave something behind that would outlive its rulers. The Aztecs chose to bury theirs beneath the holiest place in their entire civilization. During excavations at Templo Mayor in Mexico City, archaeologists uncovered 3 ancient stone chests packed with more than 80 polished greenstone figurines alongside nearly 4,000 marine objects, including shells and coral. Researchers believe the offering dates to the reign of Moctezuma I during the 15th century, when the Aztec Empire was rapidly expanding. Nothing inside those chests appears to have been placed there by accident. The sea treasures symbolize the waters from which the Aztecs believed creation began, while the greenstone figures were already centuries old when they were buried. They came from the far older Mezcala culture, suggesting the Aztecs deliberately collected sacred relics from vanished civilizations before placing them beneath their greatest temple. Why? Many researchers believe they were claiming the spiritual power of the past itself. Whatever message those offerings carried, it was meant for gods, not people. Number 1. Madara Rider. Carving an image into solid rock is impressive enough. Doing it more than 70 feet above the ground without modern equipment makes the story far harder to explain. That's the mystery surrounding Bulgaria's famous Madara Rider. Cut into a towering limestone cliff near the village of Madara, close to Shumen. The huge relief is believed to have been created around 13 centuries ago. It shows a horseman driving a spear into a lion while a dog races beneath the horse and an eagle follows overhead. The scene itself is striking, but the location raises even bigger questions. Researchers still don't know exactly how ancient craftsmen reached the cliff or completed such detailed work at that height. Nearby inscriptions date the monument to the early 8th century and connect it with Bulgaria's pagan past before Christianity spread across the region. Many archaeologists believe it honored an early ruler or sacred tradition. Even now, the Madara Rider continues to guard its greatest secret. If you found this video interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Until then, stay curious, and we'll see you soon.